Hey guys, Cam315 back with another video.
Richie! I had to do it at the beginning.
I see that you have to keep the tradition alive, didn't you? Well. Okay. We're back with another video of the Spider-Man marathon. And, yeah. So now we are talking about the second alliteration of Spider-Man done, and that is the Amazing Spider-Man sequel. Well, 2 movies. Even though it really would have gotten 3, but there was internal conflict behind the scenes, and we never did get that third Amazing Spider-Man. And maybe that was for the best, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not do a good job at all. But, yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man was a newer take on Spider-Man, and I remember watching the first trailer to the Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, what the heck is this? Then I saw Spider-Man. I was like, they're making another Spider-Man movie? And I got hyped. Because, like I said in the last video, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready for a new Spider-Man. I thought his costume, it looked unique, but I liked it. It was a lot different from his typical Spider-Man look. What did you think of this costume from the first movie?
Honestly, I don't think really I really noticed that much of difference on the design, in my opinion.
Oh, okay, that's your opinion. So, anyways, this movie came out July 3rd, 2012. Funniest thing is, this movie actually released a day before Far From Home is coming out. So, or a day after Far From Home is coming out. But yeah. So, anyways, this was a new take of Spider-Man because they introduced the whole aspect of, cross-species and stuff like that, like cross-species genetic, like the fusion of like a species and a human DNA to make these, basically, I guess you can call them meta-humans in a way. And yeah, I thought Amazing Spider-Man was a decent enough movie. This time we have Andrew Garfield taking up the mantle of Spider-Man. Now, if you ask me what I thought about Andrew Garfield, is I actually liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I thought he was cool. My only thing is with him is he did not act like a Peter Parker. And I don't really think the Amazing Spider-Man movies really got down the whole Peter Parker character. Like, from the first movie, he was, like, skateboarding. And I'm like, Peter Parker's supposed to be a nerd, not a punk skateboarder type of kid. And I don't know, and I just didn't like that alliteration of Peter Parker. Not in this little mini franchise of The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I thought Andrew Garfield did a phenomenal job at playing Spider-Man. Now, like with Tobey Maguire, I thought he was a better Peter Parker because he fit the mold of a nerd-like character, but he didn't fit the mold of being Spider-Man, in my opinion. With Andrew Garfield, he doesn't fit the mold of being Peter Parker as a whole, but I love him as playing Spider-Man because he says the quips like Spider-Man would do, and he was just damn funny as Spider-Man when he put on the mask. And I think he liked it because I think he had a very good time as it. Your opinions on Andrew Garfield's alliteration of Spider-Man and Peter Parker?
Well, just I kind of like this one better than the previous generation of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's respectable. Is there anything special that you like about Andrew Garfield as opposed to Tobey Maguire?
I guess just the character aspect, I guess.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the villains, we get the villain in the first Amazing Spider-Man is we get the Lizard. And to be honest, now looking back at it, he looks like a carbon copy ripoff of the first Spider-Man movie of the Green Goblin. Literally a person who basically kind of loses his job due to the board of Oscorp, because in this two series of movies, Norman Osborn is a thing in this movie. The only problem is he's very sickly and very ill, and Dr. Connors has to make a antidote to heal him, and that results in the cross-species formula. And stuff like that. And if we all know the story of Dr. Connors, he's basically a professor that's teach Peter Parker, but he has a lost limb. Now, the only difference is he's not a teacher at a college where Peter Parker goes to. He works at Oscorp, and he's a scientist and stuff like that. And instead of really mentoring Peter Parker, he mentors him a little bit in this film, but he morely is like a mentor towards love interest Gwen Stacy, who's played by Emma Stone. Now, if you heard my last video, Denzel did ask me the question, who's my favorite love interest out of all the Spider-Man's movies. I did say Emma Stone's my favorite because you can actually feel the love between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in this film. And then and Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, I think, did a phenomenal job when they were both on screen together, because you could really feel them connecting, like they really did care and love each other. And I like her performance as Gwen Stacy in this. And, you know, there's nothing I can say. I personally like her performance as the love interest more than Kristen Dunst. And I will dare say Liz Allen from Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I don't know about Zendaya because
We haven't seen that
we haven't seen that movie yet at this current point in time. So we'll find out how Zendaya's character is as a love interest in the film. So, and from the clips I've seen, it looks like it's going to be that awkward type of relationship where it's like, oh, I'm feeling you out, but, you know, I'm cool with it.
She looks like a bit of a tomboy.
Oh, she's obviously playing a tomboy character. Even from Homecoming you can tell. But, yeah, I thought Emma Stone did a good job in the performance. But going back to Kurt Connors in the film, he, like I said, he was basically a carbon copy of Norman Osborn's Green Goblin from basically the first Spider-Man. The moment he took the serum, that's when he just literally went insane, and he just lost all self-control. And I could say, I honestly believe that's, now looking back on it now, I think it's a negative part because, and especially the fact that we also got another origin story as well in this, where we have to deal with the fact that we have to see the whole Uncle Ben dying aspect again. And it became the trope at the time where it's like, why are we going through the same thing over again?
Let me ask you something. Would you say that the Amazing Spider-Man movies are like more predictable compared to back then, or?
I wouldn't say more predictable. I would say probably not as fleshed out, looking back at it. And especially when you get into Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it has all sorts of problems. And like I said, we'll get to that in a few minutes, but basically the whole plot of the film is basically, like I said, when Dr. Kurt Connors is turned into Lizard, he basically wants to turn the entire city of New York into reptilian lizards. That's not really you could say not a strong motive or plan for a villain. You think it to be like, but then again, this is back in the time when villains weren't really all done that well. Like, heck, this movie was like alongside Avengers, and I think Avengers came out a few months. I think at the time the only best villain was probably Loki.
Yeah.
At the time. And this is 2012, so the Avengers came out in 2012, so like I say, Loki was probably the best superhero villain up to this point. The Lizard, and it was just, I don't know, it was just a carbon copy thing. Carbon copy, like just a whole replacement of like, it just took really some elements from the very first Spider-Man movie back in 2002 and just kind of either ripped it off or put it in here. And it's like, looking back at it now, I do like The Amazing Spider-Man. It's, like I said, it's better than, I think it's better than Spider-Man 3, but it's not better than
Spider-Man 1?
Yeah, Spider-Man 1 from 2002.
Is it better than Spider-Man 2?
No! Spider-Man 2 eats over this movie in a heartbeat. It eats over both the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But, that's really it. My thoughts on it, I thought it was a good movie. I liked the characters. It was a good little introduction to this new take on Spider-Man. Especially the fact that the police, Spider-Man is not okay with the police. And it's cool, and I guess from that was cool because they saw him as a vigilante. Like, you're not a hero, you're a vigilante. And I liked how the, how it just like, it took the whole aspect of Spider-Man being more of a vigilante instead of like a hero. So to the police force, it's like it felt like he was kind of like an anti-hero, but
so like Green Arrow, pretty much.
Yeah, basically. We also do have another death in this movie, and it's basically Gwen Stacy's father's death that dies, and it kind of set up a little bit of the stage in Amazing Spider-Man 2 from Peter having the PTSD of that death, but, yeah, so we're gonna get into what people probably call the worst made Spider-Man movie in existence.
Would you really say it's the worst?
Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's, wow, everyone says it's terrible to like the ends of the earth.
I mean, I know it's bad, but would you say it's the worst?
Out of all of them, it's definitely the worst. It's the worst. It's dead last. And it goes from the trope of what I said in my Spider-Man 3 review. When I was younger, I thought this movie was super cool and I thought it was really good. Looking back at it now, it doesn't really hold up as much as it does today. And this is me not watching the movie in years and I can still remember some things. There's problems out the wazoo with this movie. And there's just, like, for one, for some reason, the people who made, the directors of the movie, decided to make Peter literally an emotional wreck where he's crying every second of the film. And it's like, come on, dude, man up. Almost every scene that's supposed to be emotional, he starts tearing up and crying. I'm like, come on, we're not, like, you're supposed to be just graduating from high school? Why are you crying? I'm like, you make Deku look like a sissy. And we all know how Deku cries in the first 2 seasons.
And that's saying something. That's saying something.
Like, legit. Probably after the graduation, he starts crying to Gwen Stacy of how he can't be with her. And, I didn't really like the Peter Parker character because he acted like a total, how would I say? Like, he just acted like a B word, really. I don't want to use that word on this channel, but he acted like a B word. Stuff like that. And it was mostly because, like I said, he was getting PTSD from the Gwen Stacy's death, or Gwen Stacy's father's death, where he was seeing him almost every time he turned around the corner. And he basically kind of broke up with Gwen Stacy because he's like, I can't keep you in my life anymore because I'm afraid you're going to get hurt and you're going to get in danger and stuff like that. Funny how that finds out because she ends up later dying in the movie. So technically he was right. So anyways, another problem with this film is, like I said, with Spider-Man 3. And it's funny because Amazing Spider-Man 2 has somewhat similar problems as Spider-Man 3. Another problem is The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had too many villains in this film. One moment in the beginning, you get Rhino, who really isn't Rhino till the final part of the film, and that closes out the film with Spider-Man fighting Rhino. And it's like, well, the hell's the point of having Rhino in here? Then you have Electro, who I think is, when you look back at it now, he's a terrible villain in the whole aspect of Spider-Man, because he just basically upset at Spider-Man because reasons. Don't get me started with that. And then all of a sudden we get another Harry Green Goblin at the end of the film. That's 3 villains, or 3 main Spider-Man villains in one film. And it goes to show you cannot fit 3 Spider-Man villains in one film. You had Rhino in the first part of the film. He was basically shoehorned to the end of the film. From the beginning until the end. So Paul Giamatti, yes, the guy who played Big Fat Liar, who was the Blue Man, he literally did nothing in this film. He probably just was here for a quick paycheck, if you ask me. So, and then you had Jamie Foxx playing as Electro. Don't get me started off with that. I think Electro's supposed to be that villain where he's conflicted. He wasn't conflicted. I think he was just a bad villain because there was no purpose of him wanting to be a villain to Spider-Man. Because it was like he was friends when he was just a normal human. And then because of the Times Square scene, because he feels like when they focus all in on Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, they're not focusing on me. He wanted to make it like about him. It's like, huh? What? So you're upset at Spider-Man because he's being a hero. There's no...
He's like your dog. He wants attention.
Basically, there's no reason why Electro should have been a villain and he should have been going against Spider-Man. And then Harry's Green Goblin, that was just a funny coincidence. And I think really an ass pull because, oh, Norman Osborn, who makes an appearance in the film, basically like telling Harry's like, oh yeah, guess what? You have the disease too, so you're gonna die. And basically his deal is, he gets upset at Spider-Man because Spider-Man won't give him his blood to basically somewhat cure him, even though we don't know if Spider-Man's blood would cure Harry. So you can't fault Spider-Man for not giving his blood. And you know, internally Peter knows he doesn't want to let his best friend die. But he knows he can't give away his blood like that because his blood might not even do nothing to help him cure the thing. So basically Green Goblin just shows up at the end of the film, kills Gwen Stacy like in the comics, and yeah.
I have no words to say how many.
Now, you thought about Spider-Man 3 that I thought there was elements that were rushed, like especially the climax of Spider-Man 3. This whole movie entirely was rushed, in my opinion. It had no pacing whatsoever. Like I said, Peter's legit crybaby the entire time. The only ever time I felt like it was only good for him to cry was from the aspect of Gwen Stacy dying. And also, even throughout the movie, Peter Parker becomes a literal stalker on Gwen Stacy because he wants to just see her instead of just manning up and being, look, I know I'm Spider-Man. I know my loved ones will get into danger, and I don't want that. But at the same time, I'm a hero. I have to understand those are the consequences, and that's my responsibility. And it's just... When I look back at it now, I thought it was so cool. No, it's like, it was really a rushed movie. And I think they just got that out just to get it out. Because I think this movie came out in 2014, 2 years after the first one. And personally, I feel the first Amazing Spider-Man is a lot better than this one. Than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. The only other thing that was brand new is he changed up his costume, made it look somewhat similar like the Sam Raimi ones, just different in a way. And
I kind of fail to see the difference in it though.
yeah, it's just, man, it's.
Wow, you're really stressed about it.
Well, when you think about it now, it's like, you know, it looked like it had so much potential to be a really good movie. Then it just didn't live up to what it was supposed to be. And this was the movie where it effectively, I wouldn't say killed Spider-Man, but it made fans be like, I don't know if I want another Spider-Man movie. Because well, in essence, as a whole, even some people didn't feel like The Amazing Spider-Man wasn't a good movie, the first one. And they feel like everyone didn't feel like this definitely wasn't a good one. So that means that in people's eyes, there was 3 Spider-Man movies in a row that didn't do a really good job. And people were afraid, like, if we get Amazing Spider-Man 3, oh my goodness. Now, when I was first watching, I was hyped to get Amazing Spider-Man 3. Now, behind the scenes, we didn't get that because yada yada yada, and, you know.
Would you say that it's as bad as Batman versus Superman, which was like overhyped, but then once you watch it, like it just let you down?
No, Batman v Superman just let me down as a whole. Now, I want to talk about Batman v Superman. Personally, I say F that movie. That movie let me down. There's so many problems in that movie I can't even get started with. Now you're talking about a movie that will stress me out till it ends of the earth. Oh my goodness. Batman v Superman was one of the most highly anticipated movies, and they failed to deliver. Martha. Yeah, I'm gonna freaking stop trying to kill you until you say my mother's name. Maybe if I do a Batman marathon, maybe I'll get into that. I personally hate Batman v Superman. One of the worst DC movies I think has ever been made, in my opinion. So, your thoughts of Amazing Spider-Man 2?
The size says it all. The size says it all. Too many flaws. Not very good villains, and I kinda just don't like it.
And when you think of it as a whole, at this point in time, which is 2014, we haven't had a very good Spider-Man villain since Spider-Man 2, which is Dr. Octopus. Sandman failed to deliver. New Goblin failed to deliver. Venom definitely failed to deliver. The Lizard failed to deliver. And these 3 villains in this movie failed to deliver as a whole as well. And personally, going back to the Green Goblin thing, I felt like he was shoehorned in the film like Venom. He would just showed up at the end of the climax to give some tension to Spider-Man to basically think, oh, Spider-Man saved the day, it's all good in that. Oh wait, you got another villain, one more villain you gotta take care of. And even though it was kind of predictable when we found out that Green Goblin was gonna be in the film, as much as we didn't want it, Gwen Stacy died, because that's how they went by the comics. Now, they would have continued the story of Spider-Man mourning the death of Gwen Stacy, similar to how in Spider-Man Far From Home, Peter's mourning the death of Iron Man. But they never got to that because, you know, the movie just didn't get good hits. No one was feeling it, and, you know, the internalists between Andrew Garfield and stuff like that, they fell out, so Andrew Garfield stopped being Spider-Man. And we never got that third Amazing Spider-Man film that technically we're supposed to go get, and that was basically where it was going to be Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six. Some of Spider-Man's famous rogue galleries, where it's one man versus 6 of his most dangerous enemies. And we never got that. And, yes, and like, hopefully, maybe in the future, we get, in the MCU, we get Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six. Because it looks like they're setting that up. They already have Vulture in the MCU, and then they got Mysterio coming up. Now we don't know if Mysterio is telling the truth, which I know he's not telling the truth. But we're gonna get to that there. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie as a whole, it was really meh. Meh. It's like something you can skip over and act like it's never been there. I thought the first movie was okay. The second movie, especially looking back on it now. Now the second movie definitely doesn't hold up till today's standards. Definitely. It looks good. It looks good, but definitely doesn't live up to what it should have been. For Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, I give that a 7 out of 10. And then this, Amazing Spider-Man 2, probably a 3.
I know.
Out of 10. If I'm feeling generous, 4 out of 10. That's me being generous. Would be a 4 out of 10. But as a whole, I'd probably give Amazing Spider-Man 3 out of 10. It does. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man 2, 3 out of 10. Good. It was okay. It was not so good of a movie. And if you're gonna, and as a whole for this little 2-movie little universe of Spider-Man, it really doesn't hold up really well. And I'd give this whole thing a 5 out of 10 as a whole. Your thoughts?
The first Spider-Man movie, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The second Amazing Spider-Man movie, I might be being a little too cruel, but 2 out of 10.
Wow. Is there? Well, you technically gave your reasons to why you don't like this movie, but
you said it all, actually.
But it's just there's problems.
And add the salt to the wound. I kind of cried when Gwen Stacy died.
Oh yeah, that was a heartbreaking scene because you like Emma Stone's character in it. I think she was one of the bright spots in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that's why I give it a 2 out of 10.
So this concludes the Amazing Spider-Man 2 film
And I'm surprised how many negative stuff we pulled from 2 movies compared to the 3 movies we've made.
Oh yeah. Really, the only negative we got from the Sam Raimi trilogy was Spider-Man 3. These 2 movies, they don't hold up really well as today standards, and I guarantee you, not a lot of people, if they see it on TV, they probably go back and watch it. I think last week I saw a little bit of the Amazing Spider-Man, and then I just went back upstairs and did my thing. But yeah, so from this point on, everyone thought Spider-Man was literally dead. As if we get another movie or we get another little and people were debating, should we get another reboot? Spider-Man. To another 2 years pass. One trailer comes out for Captain America Civil War. And I remember seeing that trailer.
Hello.
I'm gonna get into that the next video. Okay, so we'll continue the Spider-Man marathon, talking about Spider-Man Homecoming, which will be the last Spider-Man live-action movie we'll talk about before giving my review about Spider-Man Far From Home after I see it. And yeah, so till then, guys, it's been Camfrey15 signing out, and Denzel, our Red Wolf, signing out. If you want to put something in the comment section about what you felt about these Spider-Man movies, go right ahead, put them down. I want to see your thoughts about what you thought about the 2 Amazing Spider-Man films. And also, if you guys would like to leave a like on the video, and even subscribe for other content that I have on this channel that I'll be coming out with. by all means, go ahead. Well, guys, it's been Came for 15.
Red Wolf.
We're signing out.
Peace.